I'm Mr. Gold. How are you guys doing this morning?
Good.
Good. Okay, so today we're going to read a story, and we're going to talk about the parts of a story, different elements that make up a story. But before we start, I have a question for you guys. What do you do if you want me to hear something you have to say?
Raise a hand.
Raise a hand. Very good. Okay.
And listen to the teacher.
All right, and listen to the teacher. That's a great idea. All right. So, you guys like stories? Wait.
No.
Hands.
No.
Yes. You like stories? Okay, that's good. So when we read a story, there are parts to a story, right? Can anybody think of any parts to a story? Yes. The beginning and middle and end. That's a great idea. That is how a story works, right? But there are other elements to a story. Does anybody know what that word says? Raise your hand.
Who?
Who, that's right. Who. Who is in the story, right? Can you think of a story? Can anybody think of a story that they like and a character that's in the story?
No, David.
No, David? What, is that a story you like to read?
Well, yeah, it's a book about a naughty kid.
A naughty kid, okay. All right. Do you have another story?
Dogman.
Dollman?
Dogman.
Dogman. Oh, I've heard of Dogman. You like those? One more. Go ahead. Oh, right. There are a lot of characters in that one. Okay. So, besides the who in the story, can anyone else think of another word that is a question that we can ask about a story? Go ahead.
And there's also usually feelings and a problem.
Okay, yes, there's usually a problem. So let's call that the what. What is the story about? Where did I put that? So we'll say what. Stop. Right? So what is the story about? What's going to happen in the story? What does happen in the story? Does anybody have any other ideas? You have an idea?
Where?
When?
Where?
Hold on a minute. You said where?
Yeah.
Well, then I gave away the next answer. Where? And what is, you can continue, what is the where of the story? The other way.
Park.
At a park, okay, someplace where it takes place, right? Where does the story take place? Anyone have any more ideas? I see you have an idea over there.
I don't know.
You don't know anymore? All right, we'll come back to you, okay? Anybody else I haven't heard from? All right, we'll go back over here. What's one?
Well, where does the story happen?
Where does the story happen? Right, that's exactly one of the things that we're going to be listening for when we listen to our story. Is there another idea? Go ahead.
When does it end?
When? When does it end? We'll just say when, because when does the story happen, right? In this particular story that we're going to read today, there is a when that we'll be listening for, okay? And there's one more that we're going to talk about today. Does anyone have a guess what that last one could be?
Me? Why?
Why? That is the last one. Why? What do you think why is about? What kind of why questions could you come up with? Do you have any follow-up there? No, nothing? Okay.
Girls backwards.
Go ahead. So you already know we're reading Frog and Toad today. Is that what you're going to say? Right. So, what we're going to do today, that's a good discussion. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to read a story from Frog and Toad. Raise your hand if you've heard of Frog and Toad. Looks like a lot of you have heard of Frog and Toad. I love these stories. My kids love these stories. So while we are reading this story, we are going to listen for what? Who?
Where?
Do you have it? No? No? You were just stretching? When?
Where?
Where? You?
I said when.
Okay. Go ahead.
Why?
Why and?
And what?
What? Exactly. So we're going to listen for that, and then we will discuss it at the end. Does that sound like a plan?
Yes.
So the first story, or the only story we're going to read today is called Spring. Spring. Does that give us a hint already of one of our questions?
Yeah.
What hint does it give us? Spring, yeah. Is it going to answer? Do you think it might answer one of these questions already?
Yes.
It's in spring.
Do you know when? I mean, what? See. Right, all right. Okay, are you guys ready? So we'll start. Spring. Frog ran up the path to Toad's house. He knocked on the front door. There was no answer.
Excuse me.
Toad,
Hey.
Toad, shouted Frog, wake up. It is spring. Blah, said a voice from inside the house. Toad, Toad, cried Frog, the sun is shining. The snow is melting. Wake up. I am not here, said the voice. So before we move on, real quick, I think we've got three answers already for these.
There's a problem.
Hold on a second. Do you know, have we gotten an answer to any of these?
Spring is where it begins.
Okay, it's also when, right? This is the springtime, right? We get any other answers? Thank you for raising your hand.
There's a problem.
There's a problem, yes, there's a problem. The problem is what?
What Toad won't come out.
Yeah. Okay, one more. Do you have something? Who? Right, who is it? Do you remember? Toad. Anyone else?
Frog.
Okay, let's move on. Frog walked into the house. It was dark. All the shutters were closed. Toad, where are you? Called Frog. Go away, said the voice from the corner of the room. Toad was lying in bed. He had pulled all the covers over his head. Frog pushed Toad out of bed. He pushed him out of the house and onto the front porch. Toad blinked in the bright sun. Have any of you had to do that before when you're in the dark? You go outside, it's really bright,
Yeah.
it's hard to see. Yeah. Help, said Toad. I cannot see anything. Don't be silly, said Frog. What you see is the clear, warm light of April. Is that a clue? You want to say it? No? You want to say it? You want to say it? When? Very good. And it means that we can begin a whole new year together. Toad, think of it, said Frog. We will skip through the meadows, run through the woods, and swim in the river. In the evenings, we will sit right here on this front porch and count the stars. You can count them, Frog, said Toad. I will be too tired. I am going back to bed. Toad went back into the house. He got into the bed and pulled the covers over his head again. But Toad, cried Frog, you will miss all the fun. Listen, Frog, said Toad. How long have I been asleep? You have been asleep since November, said Frog. Well then, said Toad, a little more sleep will not hurt me. Come back again and wake me up at about 1/2 May. Good night, Frog. But Toad, said Frog, I will be lonely until then. Toad did not answer. He had fallen asleep. Frog looked at Toad's calendar. The November page was still on top. Frog tore off the November page. He tore off the December page. Does anyone know what comes after December?
November. January.
January. Let's see what he does here. And the January page, the February page, and the March page. He came to the April page. Now raise your hand. What do you guys think he's going to do at the April page? What month is it that it currently is in? Anybody else that has not raised their hand yet? Do you know what month it is right now in the story? Do you remember? April. Very good. So what do you think he's going to do at the April page? Should he stop? He should stop, right? Because it's April.